City of Myrtle Beach Planning Commission meeting. We welcome you here in the new year. Thank you for being here. We're going to start by taking the roll call. Waited as long as I could. Sharon? Here. Joe?
Here.
Austin?
Here. Danielle
is absent. Betty Ann? Here. Phil?
Here.
Zeb? Paul?
Here.
Okay, thank you everyone for being here, and we're going to move on to the December 16th approval of the minutes, please. I would like to hear a motion, or at least if you have any notations or thoughts about it, I'd like to go with the motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion from Sharon, a second from Austin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the first item, text 25-07, MUM drive-through conditions. Cameron, please.
And it's a request from C.F. Smith Property Group, LLC, to amend section 1501RR to allow property specifically on the Robert M. Grissom Parkway to develop restaurants with drive-through service with conditions. So we spoke at the workshop. This is a requested change to the condition of 1501RR. Would read structures that abut Robert M. Grissom Parkway and the border board is located no less than 400 feet from the closest residential property. Added into this since our last meeting, it's a little bit difficult to see here the whole map of the city. The two colored zones of green and blue are the MUM zones throughout the city. The blue zones are the ones that would meet this condition as abutting Robert M. Grissom Parkway, which would then also need to meet within the criteria that 400 feet from a residential property for an order box. So tried to blow it up a little bit more here, those blue properties. And I do want to mention the one furthest right, the furthest up, that parcel should be labeled green. Our GIS has some limitations. That top right blue one should be green, but that's just a GIS limitation. So it's roughly 6 zones, or 6 MUM spots throughout Robert Grissom that could be subject to this, but those are mostly developed pieces of property at this point. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. Included in your packet was also that analysis from the APA about drive-through conditions and how they've changed since COVID.
That was a very interesting read. Okay, commissioners, what questions do you have for Cameron before we go to the applicant, please?
Which of the blue zones are within 400 feet of residential that would not allow for the drive-through? Any of them?
Mostly it's the ones on the right-hand side of the map. That there is some residential down over that way. The majority of residential, though, is clustered closer to the beach away from Robert M. Grissom. That would be impacted by these zones.
Okay. Anybody else? It's a lot of area.
It's a very interesting article that you supplied about making that a boom versus a ban. I enjoyed reading that. Yeah.
But very COVID related, though.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
I have some questions, but if there's others that have questions, I have 2 or 3 they'd like to go first on that. Well,
I don't see any raised hands.
Okay.
So.
I think last time it was brought out, which was a good point, that there's already limitations on curb cuts for who that helps that. Do you know how far apart those are?
The curb cuts?
How that much help?
That section of Grissom, or most of Grissom, is actually governed by state DOT, so it's up to their discretion of where those curb cuts do exist.
Okay. In our, this article, it brought a couple of things I wanted to see where we were at with it. One of the things it said to ensure is that when a drive-through like property is being developed, one of the things to try to ensure confidence in everyone was to make sure the site plan allowed for some expansion of the queue if it is more than what we would anticipate. Do we have that? I try to look in our current ordinances, and I was reading things, but I wasn't sure I understood everything about that. But do we have that, or we just go directly by? I think we said last time 8. We require 8 queues You know what was stated last time?
We require 8.
This is, yeah, they mentioned that last time.
And is that the standard in itself, there's no requirement to have it in case it got worse than?
Prior to COVID, it was 4. We required stacking of 4. And then after COVID, we got it to 8, but that starts from the order point, not from the pickup window. So basically, you know, you may have like 6 additional cars from the pickup window, from the order board to the pickup window, but we start our queuing count of 8 from the order board.
Okay, that's correct. Because in this plan, they started to queue right after the drive-through window, so this is even more greater than what they were illustrated in that.
Don't we start the queue from the,
Yeah, that's where we're.
the order board?
And I'll also mention in that report provided to you, it noted that most municipalities do a standard footage, but they noticed that there's an issue between sizing of cars. Ours is a standard number 19, like parking spot size is generally what we go off of for the size of cars. So we're already maximizing for the intention that people are gonna be driving big pickup trucks through and accounting for that in this.
That's how you measured with the,
Well, that-
which was good. That's
that one example-
Because I was reading that, and I was still.
The Mini Cooper is 12 feet, and the crew cab is 22 feet.
So we're already fairly well maximized on space available for the car, and then this 8 from the order point is considerable.
I think these questions are validating how well we try to correct some of the issues in the past and how we really encompassed even more than what they were trying to tell us, so that's good to know. Last thing I had to say is do we have in our code, I couldn't find any penalties if we start seeing them backing up into the street because of Grissom, is there any type of penalty? They talked about penalties.
Charles says no.
That would be through the police as far as, that would be through the police department through disruption in driveway.
So it could be handled as a disruption.
Yeah, that would be a police issue.
Okay.
That was something that was talked about in this massive article about if there were challenges, that they would put a stop to it and go back and reevaluate it and make it was a lot, but we only do if it's upsetting to the police.
Well, eventually you start looking at what the property is. Is it creating a nuisance? And then you can start to finding the facts of, does it meet all that criteria?
But again, I think the main point that Charlie's making is that is nothing that from a zoning standpoint, we cannot say your stacking requirements are 8 until we decide otherwise.
Yeah, I don't have that.
We can't do anything like that. So let's say that the stacking requirement is 8, and then we say, we need to get the stacking requirement up to 10, okay? If we change the stacking requirement to 10, the other guy is still legal as an existing non-conforming with a stacking requirement of 8.
Okay, so is there a reason we wouldn't have, because it's difficult for, as you know, if you don't have a code in place, and then you start getting issues with people stacking into Grissom, to go through that process becomes very redundant, where if we had a code that says you start stacking in the street, you can't allow that. You've got to make allowances for that and have some way to address it to where we don't have to go through a whole.
Code is a minimum.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have to address a number.
Yeah.
When it comes to zoning, we have to address a number. We can't necessarily plan for hypotheticals in regard to that, because the developer has to know what requirements he has to meet on his property moving forward for him to put the best plan in front of us. So yeah, I see what you're talking about. I understand what you're talking about. I have just never seen anything like that in zoning that was after the fact. I've seen it maybe something before the fact, like a special condition or a special exception, but what you just talked about, I've never seen anything like that exists in a zoning code.
It's important also to keep in mind that what you're talking about is spilling off of private property into a public right-of-way. Once it enters the public right-of-way, it is a police function at that point. They're the ones who govern that public right-of-way.
So I think they would have to just speed up their service.
Speak up the service.
Speed up the service.
Well, you could, could you not require a stacking requirement on the property? A certain number of spaces?
That's what we do right now.
Yeah.
Right now, we've already doubled it since COVID from 4 to 8. And we measure it from the order board, so there could be 4 additional cars between the order board and the window. So, you're possibly talking easily 12 to 13 cars being on that property. And if I doubt very seriously that the stacking right now goes all the way to the edge of the property, because you still got your travel ways that go in there as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for that review. I think it's helpful for people as we're looking at this to
Okay.
understand those items, and that'll help understand why we're trying to make the decisions we make. Thank you.
All right. What other questions do we have, Cameron, on this item? Anything else? I'm going to go to the applicant. Is the applicant here? Hello.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you again. Kevin Pulis, P3 Engineering Group. I'm here representing CF Smith Property Group with this request. Cam, your report hit the nail on the head. So I'm primarily here to answer any questions you may have. One thing I did want to mention, just hearing the discussion, Robert Grissom is DOT controlled. There are portions of controlled access along Robert Grissom. So curb cuts onto Robert Grissom are going to be very heavily scrutinized by DOT. Specifically, another thing is the traffic studies. 100 peak hour trips requires a traffic study. That's usually around 3,000 square feet on a fast food restaurant, which is not very big, obviously. So I'd say the majority of fast food restaurants will trip that traffic study, which will then, DOT can look for road improvements, things of that nature. So just want to point that out, that there is some, quite a bit of scrutiny from DOT that will happen at that point. Theoretically, if it is a big enough nuisance, they actually can close a driveway. So ultra worst case scenario, but there are multiple ways that the DOT specifically can police this, so to speak.
Okay, questions for Mr. Pulis, please? Commissioners? None? Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you in a moment.
Okay.
This is a public hearing item. I'll just wait a minute here.
Okay, sorry, let me just
No
finish
problem,
this.
no problem. We're not hurrying you. If anybody in the public would like to address this item, D1 on the agenda, about the drive-through. Yes, sir. Mr. McCoy?
Seth McCoy with First and Chapin. I have a quick question for clarification, because a lot of those parcels that are highlighted actually belongs to us. What constitutes a residential property, since residential is allowed in the mixed-use zone? Is it, at any point, a commercial building could be transferred into residential? Does multifamily count as residential? I just need some clarification on kind of what that 400 foot is to, once again, kind of know how it could affect our potential.
That's a
development.
wonderful question. Charles, tell us the answer to that.
Not opposed to it, I just like
No,
clarification.
it's a great question. Thank you.
What's the angle you leading to?
I think
I'm
what
just,
Seth is asking.
there's a lot of
and
properties
what
that we
I would
have
say
that are
is-
highlighted there
I'd say
that we've
it's
looked
a
at.
dominant residential zone where the use is strictly stuck as residential.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, we've got a large parcel on Grissom, across from the ball field. I doubt on the Jetport Road, Harrelson Boulevard in, that's more industrial area. But if it was a kind of a mixed-use parcel, since some of these parcels are 30 acres, what classifies as a residential use, since residential is allowed in the mixed-use district? I'm trying to figure out where that 400 mark would start from.
Should we limit it to residential zones?
I was about to say, I would go with the interpretation that Charlie just threw out of the hand, right? It's like, basically you're saying
zone,
residential
stuck-
zones.
You're limited to
Just residential,
Yeah, you could increase it to multifamily, but if we're just looking at, what would I say is residential zone, because multifamily is a little bit more commercial, I would limit it to just residential zones, which would kind of flow with that map a little bit better.
So single family detached, or?
Yeah. Any of your single Rs.
Like you said, though, how do you, when it says residential zone property, okay, you might develop next to a MUM piece of property that's vacant, and it could be a commercial use, or it could end up being a residential use.
It could be
So,
both, yeah.
so the safest call would be the one that Charlie just made, is that any district that is solely a residential district, and we could even go and say residential multifamily if you wanted to on that.
And that would pull the distance off from what Seth's asking about.
So our districts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically your R districts.
So you could have a mixed-use development with a drive-through. Like a Market Commons example, Starbucks right next to a mixed-use
Yeah.
kind of apartments that happen right there off of Fairwood Parkway. That's kind of the
Yeah.
scenario I guess I would be
You
asking.
can label it single-family districts.
Okay,
Very good on the spot question.
thank you.
Thank you. We're glad you're here today, Mr. McCoy. Thank you. Okay, anyone else would like to say anything from the public? Seeing no other requests, I'm going to officially close the public hearing portion and come back to the planning commission. Okay, planning commission, what say you?
I have one question. A lot of the drive-throughs have like two,
Double?
yeah, do they have to have 8 behind each, 8 stacks behind each, or just, if they had 2, they had 4 behind each?
No, I mean, a lot of them turn into one window, so typically they might break it out 4 and 4.
But you said y'all started it from the order point.
Yeah, so I got 8, you count them together. There isn't,
That's what,
there
okay.
isn't really
Yes.
an order.
Yes,
Yeah.
the answer is yes. No.
So if you had 2, you could just.
Whether you got 6 in one lane and 2 in the other, that's 8.
Right.
Whether you got 8 of them all in one line, that's 8. 4 and 4, that's 8.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been in line at the Chick-fil-A on?
Yes.
Now, like the one in the county where you kind of have 2 order points, but they have 2 lanes. So you, yeah, each one of those. But again, our minimum code's based off of just 8. So they're gonna have another order point. You know, we typically are a little bit open on that.
Gotcha.
Because that's pulling in less, it's pulling in less cars. Sure. And have a better layout.
Yep.
Okay, yes, Phil.
So help me distinguish between multifamily, which is residence, and single-family, which is residence. Why is there an issue with single-family who are residents and multifamily who are residents? Why is it different?
I'm not following your question.
Well, you said that multifamily is more of a commercial use, but it is residence.
It is.
So what was the purpose of saying it can't be within 400 feet of residential?
The multifamily is more of a commercial application, just how the entire site's developed, where you put in parking,
understand.
layout and everything.
But what I'm asking is, why are we making a condition of residential?
Well, that's what-
The
that's
code
the
that you're
council
asking is
adopted it.
based off a distance off a residential neighborhood, and a residential neighborhood is a single family.
Well, I understand, but why are we making that a requirement? Is there an issue that we think could develop because of it?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at undeveloped properties along the Robert Grissom corridor that would affect the future of those lots.
So people that's in residential properties would be adverse to something like that, being close to them?
I'm not following your question.
Yes,
You wanna try-
yes, yes.
Yeah. So if it's adverse to them, why does a multifamily not be given the same consideration?
The- the-
They could be.
It could be, but
I threw out that option.
Whenever
Yeah, I
we-
threw out that option. You could be one or other. I'm fine with it.
But a multifamily is gonna, I mean, there's gonna be
It's a higher
a
density.
site plan that has to be approved, that's gonna have the driveways and everything, parking, where the entranceways are. There's a lot more planning involved in a,
Right.
in a multifamily.
There's a CAB requirement as well with
Yeah,
the
so
You're also
multifamily.
looking at a higher density.
Yeah, I understand all that. All I'm really getting down to, if I was a resident, and you're saying for single residential property owners, they wouldn't want to be within 400 feet to keep the noise and the traffic away. Multifamily even has more traffic. Why wouldn't we be protecting the residents of a multifamily?
You can.
Yeah,
I'm fine either way.
it's
That's
an
it.
it's an
I-
option to do that.
Any residential zoning classification,
Yeah.
whether it's R7, R10, RMH, RMM, the best interpretation for us, whenever it says 500 feet from residential,
Okay.
the best interpretation for us is any residential zoning district, whether it be multifamily or whether it be single family.
Okay, that's-
But it is not a district that just allows residents in it. It is actually a residential zoning
Okay,
district.
that's what I want to clarify, because when Seth asked his question, it sounded like we would only consider it as an option and gives us the free way to kind of determine it, which I've seen in the past. If it doesn't state it in fact, then there can be disagreements on where it stood. So y'all are saying if there was a multifamily property within 400 feet of this, and it had been developed into multifamily properties, you're gonna treat that probably as a residential property and have to stay 400 feet away.
I'm following either way with the R or
Yes.
RM. Yeah.
Okay,
If that's
Thank you.
where, if that's the direction,
yes,
okay.
right. So residential's not just the ones that are zoned for single-family residential, but are zoned for anybody that's got a residential property.
Any R property, R or RM.
I would tend to think that maybe single family might be more appropriate, just because, you know, you do see apartment complexes and things like that in relatively, you know, commercialized zones, you know, but, I mean, 400 feet is not that far away.
No, it is not far away at all.
It's a block.
Well, it's, bigger.
More than a football field.
Football field, it's a 1 1/3 football field, that's a pretty good distance.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, that's true. So, I mean, you know, if there's an apartment complex that's a block away, should that prohibit somebody from having a driveway?
Right. I was just making sure in the multifamily, it says R in it.
Yeah, any residential zone, R or RM.
I do want to point out in the document that I gave you all from the APA, their best practice was to put the restriction at 40 feet, so this
I
is
saw that.
a 10
This is
times
10 times, right.
increase in what a best practice
And
would be,
that's-
so this
that's
is very
what-
protective of
yes.
over residential.
I'm just making sure, because when it says that residential can go into those commercial areas, but it's being considered residential zone.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, commissioners, what other thoughts, concerns, questions do you have for the applicant or staff, please?
If it's a residential zone in the county, does that apply, or is it only a residential zone in the city?
That's a $64,000 question there, Zeb.
Sometimes it does.
So we need to get in all of those donut holes.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, Seb? No? Joe? Paul? Sharon? Betty Ann? Austin? Phil?
Or no for me.
Okay, and maybe not. We'll see. We're ready for a motion. If everybody has collected their thoughts, I would like to get a motion to keep moving here.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Did you make a motion, Phil? I have a motion from Phil, a second from Paul to accept as proposed. Is that correct? Phil,
You
is
want to
that
add
correct?
definition to?
Yeah, that's what I want to
Just
know.
apply to the residential zones?
Is that,
I would probably add that in.
Yes. Well, that was the way it was submitted, as submitted.
As submitted.
And residential zone, you said, included the multifamily properties that could be multi-use.
Well, I think you said it includes multifamily and single-family residential zones, but you still have residences in an MUM zone. You could have, you could have a commercial property and yeah. But that would not apply to those residences.
It wouldn't?
No.
That's what I asked, and he said yes.
No, sir, that's not what you asked.
Okay, well, I asked the wrong question.
okay, back up.
Maybe, I mean, what's the 400-foot requirement coming from? I mean, that does seem kind of excessive to me.
That was from the applicant's request.
Okay.
If you'd feel more comfortable with 200, I guarantee the applicant would too.
200 to me seems probably a little bit more,
You've got the biggest thing with drive-throughs in regard to residential
It's
was
the same.
always the old school speakers.
That's it.
Okay, it was the old school speakers. Everybody tried to say it was the headlights. No, it was the old school speakers, where you feel like the man is talking this soft, but you feel like he's hollering at you through the drive-through window. I think the best one you could be the old Tasty Trees, where now is that Moe's Barbecue. That was just a big bullhorn speaker. They don't have the bullhorn speakers anymore. Heck, half the time you have to tell the people on the other side to speak up because you didn't hear what they said. So that was the big thing back in the day that drove drive-throughs away from residentials, because you didn't want to hear somebody at 11 o'clock at night hollering, "Welcome to McDonald's, how may I help you?" And so it's kind of been a self-correcting thing in a roundabout way, just through the processes of technology.
May I rephrase my question?
Yes, can you withdraw?
Withdraw.
So, thank you, thank you.
Okay, my question was, and I must have said it completely wrong, anywhere that you can build residential, whether, regardless of what zone it is, if there's residential allowed to be built there, does this term residential apply to all those zones?
No, sir. It would not apply to a MUM zone. I mean, here's the thing. If the applicant would please come back up to the podium and could maybe, this is your application that we're talking about. What did you mean whenever you said residential property?
These are all good questions, and actually, good question you brought up as well.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase this. I think our intent is, again, multifamily, single family, they're still residential, right? Understand that. Typically, a multifamily development is, from a zoning perspective, viewed as a commercial type development. Given the parking lot, given the density, given multi-factors, it does lend itself to more of a multi-use type development, right? As an apartment, as a townhomes, sort of that gray area. I'd like to
The
get your
fact that
opinion on that.
we put commercial development requirements on multifamily residential properties.
Correct.
9 by 19 parking spaces, 22-foot drive aisles.
Correct.
So, as the applicant, your request is single-family residential.
Single-family residential. That-
Okay.
Honestly, our intent was single-family residential and existing, and I mean, maybe some of these words we can explore, right? I mean, we're very open to recommendations and suggestions, right? I mean, our intent was single-family, we're trying to be good neighbors and saying, okay, existing single-family, come right in, build a speaker, build a drive-through, things that would be disruptive to a single-family owner. I don't think the intent was necessarily to get as specific as, maybe the apartment complex, because those are typically built in more commercial zones anyway.
Commercial lighting.
Commercial lighting, right. I mean, so there's, and again, I'm trying to make sure I phrase this properly, so as not to step over myself here. But, I think our intent was really to look at the single family to not limit overall uses in the future, especially in MUM. Great point there that you made. So I would just say that that's how we link on that. I would also say that, and I mentioned this before in our first meeting, restaurants themselves sit down, so like a Longhorn, for instance, Olive Garden, those are allowed by right within MUM. So really, all types of restaurants are allowed. It's the drive-through portion of the use that is specifically not allowed. And then if you notice, there's already an amendment, discussions with staff. That amendment was for a very specific case on Kings Avenue. We're not here asking for a specific case, a specific property. This is more just a clarification that on this corridor, which does have a good mix of single-family, multifamily, and commercial, that we would request being allowed this. I'd also mentioned before, pharmacies are allowed. So CVS, Walgreens, they have a speaker. Those are allowed by right. So as a dry cleaner, I know not always, but typically dry cleaners, some of them do have speakers. So, there are already allowable uses that would have this speaker.
And I think another good point that you just made is that an outright restaurant without a drive-through would just have to adhere to the regular setbacks.
I don't know why they would, but Chick-fil-A could theoretically not have a drive-through and build there. So.
Madam Chairman, may I clarify my question from earlier?
Sure.
So,
Are you going to make it more complicated?
try not to. Once
Okay,
again,
let's see. Go
I'm
ahead.
not opposed to this. I just think the word residential is very ambiguous in the way it's defined in the code with mixed-use districts, multifamily
It is.
districts, residential
It
districts. I don't disagree with anything that's being said, but in other in other cases of the code where you've got to have buffers or setbacks or things like that, it's from a district or a use that is already zoned that way, and you know you've got to do that. When you're talking about these mixed-use zones, once again, take any one of these parcels where this could go, that parcel could be cut up tomorrow with a drive-through, and then the very next day, a residential use could be put next to it, which, once again, they're accepting that fate. I get that. I'm
Yes, that's right.
perfectly fine with that. You build there. But at the same time, if I do that development in reverse, because usually you got to have a population to make the drive-through restaurant work, now I can't put the drive-through restaurant there. So my intention of the question was, is it purely for single family? Is it pure, as Charles said, the R zones? Because as this code has evolved over the past several years, when did we do this rewrite? 14, so 10 years. And getting ready to go through another one. It's just something to kind of think about as the world changes, that the development is going to more mixed use. Once again, no problem excluding multifamily, because you got to deal with trash compactors and gates and doorbells and things like that, that are all these things that people have problems with or the single family people have more of a problem with living next to that than you do in that multifamily setting. I just think the term, for me personally, residential, leaves a lot of interpretation.
Okay.
I admire these guys a lot,
That's
they
what I
make a
want-
good
that's
call,
what I
And I think
but
that's
they
where-
may not be here tomorrow.
And I think that
That's-
Phil was going there. I'm not sure his answer was ever what he was
I'll
looking
make the
for.
proper motion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McCoy.
Sorry,
Thank you.
is there any way I can actually, as a property owner, is it?
No, I mean, I think what you did right now, I think for clarification for this board, based off the clarification that you just provided as the applicant, what we are voting for right now is no speaker within 400 feet of single-family residentially zoned property.
I think that would clarify a lot of
Yes.
stuff.
I
Yes.
think
That's
it's
what I'm gonna,
it's
that's what I'm
simple.
gonna try to do.
And
I think that's where you were going, Phil.
And
We
we
probably
already-
add airline to that, like air measurement, we probably would add airline for measurement purposes.
400-foot radius.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, would that be, again, I'm not trying to muddy the waters, would that be from a structure or a property line or a zoning district?
Is it the order
Typically,
box? Order
we would go
board.
from the order point airline to their property line.
Yeah.
That's what's missing
The
in this
or-
ordinance.
Straight line.
The order
Straight
board,
line.
the
Straight line.
order board, is that what we're talking about, Charles? The
Yes.
order board?
That's
To
what
their
drive-through
property.
itself.
To the
Pardon?
property.
The actual drive-through itself.
Yeah.
The order board.
Yes,
But they often have two order boards, just let's be clear.
closest one,
Yeah.
400 feet to a closest.
So if you're close, you can redesign the order form.
Sure.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
now they have order here and take the next order, and there's a second
Right.
order board, and it's,
So for the point of clarification, I'm asking the applicant right now, you're referring to single-family residentially zoned properties.
That is our request, to
Thank
clarify that this is single-family residential only.
thank you, you did a great job.
And that's
Is
not
that-
RMM or
No,
RMH
it's-
or RMV, it's only R only.
Single-family, I don't know that.
That's
off the top of
correct.
my
That's-
head,
that's
single
Yes,
proper.
you're
family.
right, you're right.
And again, some of this, we're trying to be good neighbors, right? But by doing that, I think we've opened up ambiguity, which is, as a property owner, would want to get that ambiguity
Right.
off. So our request would be, single-family residential.
Thank you.
only.
Good,
That's-
good job, and thank you for standing up and explaining
Sure.
everything.
Yeah,
Thank
I mean,
you very
again,
much.
as a property owner representative, I welcome your.
I just suggest you quit talking while you're ahead.
I'm trying to say thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to.
You did a good job.
I'd like to entertain a motion.
Okay, we're starting all over.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve with an amendment to the request being, rather than just saying residential, all zoning districts that have the R, like R5, R7, R8, R10, R15, single-family detached residential districts is be corrected to that wording and make that motion and keep the remaining of the request the same.
I would have airline distance for measurement.
The measuring difference
Yeah,
from
that way
the,
That
From
way
the
it gives me
order
the ability to
board.
go and measure.
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
Order
airline.
board.
Straight, yes, and included in that, the language of 400 feet is the airport,
Airline.
airline district.
Airline
Straight, that's right.
from the order board.
Yeah, they draw straight lines, don't they?
Okay,
Okay.
is that, do you have all that?
Yep.
Okay, now, I'm going back to you, Mr. Paul, did you want to do this, or you don't, what, where are you?
I will second that. I think I understand.
Go ahead and
all that.
repeat it, though.
Don't ask me to repeat it.
Okay, all right. I have a motion from Phil, which has been amended, and a second from Paul. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, it's unanimous, and thank you very much for coming in and getting this done.
Thank
And
you.
we'll be moving on here.
Thank you for the planning staff helping us
Yes.
understand.
All right, moving on to item number 2, Annex 25-06, 21st Avenue, 21st and 17 bypass, and this is Kelly.
This is request from Broadway at the Beach Palace Tract LLC, Seth McCoy agent, to annex approximately 1.02 acres on the corner of 17 Bypass and 21st Avenue North, and to rezone from Horry County amusement commercial to entertainment. Here's a location map. The current zoning, amusement commercial, and proposed zoning, entertainment. Happy to answer any questions. The applicant is in the room.
Okay, commissioners, ask Kelly all the questions you have. Anything? Okay, thank you, Kelly. Mr. McCoy, would you like to?
Here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay.
Closing the donut hole.
But sit down, right? That's what you're gonna tell me. Okay, thank you, Mr. McCoy. All right, back to commissioners. If there are no further questions, I'm gonna move into the, it's a public hearing item. I'm gonna ask the public if they would like to comment on this item, please. I do not see any requests from the audience, so I will close the public hearing portion of that item and come back to commissioners to ask any other questions or make a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Joe to approve as is,
And I'll second it.
second from Sharon. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. McCoy.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item D3, Annex 25-07, Professional Drive, Cameron.
Yes, ma'am. This is a request from Robert Wiley with Warren Smith as agent to annex approximately 0.86 acres off Professional Drive and to rezone from Horry County OPI Office Professional Institutional to MP Medical Professional. So the site in question on Professional Drive is the last remaining piece there on the side of Professional Drive outside of the jurisdiction. We're just going to the purple of the medical professional. I have 2 quick notes to make to the staff report. I did receive 1 phone call on this as of yesterday, and there's a gentleman asking what was going on that site. Annexations don't require site plans, but it's going to be medical professional of some nature, some sort of office building. And the second thing is we talked last time about that small sliver piece next to it that is grayed out. I worked with our GIS department, just the layer of our zoning map, the purple was off shifted.
Oh.
That is part of the city of Myrtle Beach, that is governed by us,
Oh.
so they've already corrected that, so the zoning map should reflect that that piece
Oh,
is
good.
purple as well.
Good, thank you.
You're very welcome. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Ms. Smith's in the audience.
Okay, commissioners, go ahead, give Cameron all your questions. I'm glad that was resolved, that little sliver there, the mystery. Okay, no questions from the commissioners, and I'm going to move to the applicant. Are you here? Hello.
Yes, hello, how are y'all?
Very well, thank you.
James Baldwin, Development Resource Group.
Hello,
So
Mr.
the-
Baldwin.
Hello, so the owner is just looking to request annexation and rezoning of the property to construct an office building for his personal use. And the reason being is that the property is served by city water and sewer, so it was requested that we annex.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have questions for Mr. Baldwin? Okay, thank you, Mr. Baldwin. I'll come back to you in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
This is, once again, another public hearing item. So I ask the public if you would like to make any comments on this item. I do not see any requests or hear any requests, so I will close the public hearing portion, come back to commissioners for any more questions or hopefully a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Joe to approve, a second from Paul. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Baldwin.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item D4, Pre-Fin 25-07 Del Webb Sales Center. And Taisha?
This is a request from Evan Gosney, Pulte Home Co. LLC, to subdivide approximately 0.77 acres of Trapani Place, zoned Grand Dunes PUD, into 4 lots ranging in size from 8,632 square feet to 8,052 square feet. Here you can see the property highlighted in blue between 67th Avenue North and Trapani Place. Here we have the aerial view. Here we have the plat showing the total acres of being 0.77 acres, and then with the largest lot being 8,632 square feet and the smallest lot being 8,052 square feet. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. And I believe the applicant's in the audience.
Thank you, Taisha. Okay, commissioners, for Taisha. Okay. The applicant is here.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
My name is Mark Stoughton with DRG representing Pulte Homes. This one's pretty straightforward. It's a demolition that's been completed of the sales center, and they're just looking to re-subdivide out the 4 lots that made up the 1 lot for their sales center, which, as you saw, was a parking lot and a building. So they're just finishing up operations and pulling out.
Are the size of these lots consistent with the other lots in the subdivision?
Yes, sir. Yep.
These were actually initially shown as being lots whenever they came in with the subdivision, and they just kind of grouped them all together for the purpose of the stuff. So it's exactly like it was whenever they came in with the whole picture.
Okay, questions for Mr. Stoughton, please, commissioners? I like the way that you were very succinct with this, Mr. Stoughton. This will move everybody along. Thank you. So,
Thank you. I tried.
okay. If there's no more questions for the applicant, back to the staff. Any more questions? And let's move on. This is not a public hearing item, surprise. So,
I move that we approve the application as presented.
okay, I have a motion to approve from Zeb, a second from Austin. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Sawton.
Thank you all.
Moving on to item number D5, SPN 25-10, HGTC Branyan, and this is Caitlin.
This is a request from Ori Georgetown Technical College, Cheney Drive off Hemlock Avenue and Swallow Avenue, servicing HDTC, Joe Thomas Brandon Jr. Street. Here's our plat showing our proposed street and our aerial. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Do we have any limitations on length of a street name?
No.
Thank you. commissioners, do you have any questions for Caitlin?
Do we have any limitations on whether the person's living or not?
No.
Or I couldn't find them, that said.
No, you can, even if they're alive, on there.
Right.
No limitation on it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Dr. Ford.
May I approach?
Would you like to comment on this item?
Name is Myrtle Ford, President of Warren Georgetown Tech. Appreciate your service. This is part of honoring Chairman Tommy Brandon, who has been with our board 34 years and chairman for the past 14 years. It is a street that borders a science building, parking there, possibility of hopefully not, but any problems that we may have for students, and we would have to have EMP. We would just like to name that street in his honor. He knows not about this. We're also trying to honor a couple of other board members that have been with us for 40 years, but we're naming some rooms inside of a building. So this is a surprise for Mr. Brandon.
So don't anyone here call him that?
That's correct, that's correct. Only his wife knows I sent her a text. Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Sure.
If it's approved, when would a sign be erected?
Oh, well,
I would have to get it with the Public Works Department on that. If you've got a certain time frame that you are shooting for, we would try within our best to work with you, and that's about the best I can give you on that.
Okay. May I state about when it would be
Yes, ma'am.
nice? We have a board meeting the second week in February.
I think that should be more than enough time to get that done, but we'll make sure that we make the phone calls after this meeting to go ahead and see what we need to do to get it going if this gets passed. Yes, ma'am.
Great. All right. Thank you so
And
much.
and a member of my staff will reach out to you and let you know
Okay.
what we found out.
Good, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ford.
Thanks for your consideration.
This is a public hearing item, so I have to ask the public. I think you're the only one left, but I'll open this for the public hearing, and seeing no request for the input, I will officially close the public hearing portion and come back to the commissioners, and I would like to have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, Paul has made a motion to approve.
A second.
Second from Joe. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Ford. I hope that if the timing works in with your signage.
Thank you.
We'll
very
find
much.
out something.
I'll have the print shop do a little plastic sign or something. Thank you very much.
Thank
We'll
you.
find out
Thank
something
you.
and let you know.
Appreciate it, Dr. Ford. Good afternoon. Okay, moving on to STN 25-11, The Palms. Caitlin, you're up again.
This is a request from HD The Palms LLC to name a new private drive off Oak Street near 16th Avenue, servicing 2 multifamily buildings, Vivian Place. Here is our map and our aerial view and our site plan showing that proposed street name. And if there are any questions, I am here to answer them. There's no applicant in the audience, so.
This little, what is the little stretch there, the extra? Can you go back a couple, please? That, the flag pole part.
It's part of their lot, it's a Sandy Cooper easement for power.
Okay, thank you. It's an easement. All right. All right. The applicant is not here, so we are told, but it is a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing to anybody who would like to speak to it. Seeing no requests.
This is a private street,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Seeing no request, I will close the public hearing portion and come back to commissioners for a motion, hopefully.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Joe, you're doing a good job today. We're
If
keeping
it wasn't
it
for you
moving.
today, we wouldn't get through this, Joe.
That's right. He's finally got the rhythm of it moving, okay.
I got well rested over New Year's, so.
I'll
Okay,
second.
thank you, Joe. And who seconded? Thank you, Sharon. Second from Sharon. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Thank you very much. And moving on. All right. The highlight of the day coming up. What's coming up down the pike with the new applications? By the way,
Nothing as of right now.
really?
Nothing?
Nothing.
So far, nothing.
Okay,
Y'all draw up good business about every time you say that, and then we get the tanks, you got 4 or 5, y'all do a good job out there.
Everybody takes that break kind of during the holidays.
I know.
It ramps back up real quick.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, probably gonna be a nightmare, and just application after
Yeah.
application. So, fingers crossed.
well, we're gonna have election of officers in a moment, but I just want to talk about something real quickly. I watched attendance very carefully, and we have some really surprisingly sad attendance. If you can't attend, I think that I'm hoping that the bylaws get updated, because when we have 6 absences and more for different people, I won't go down the list. If you want to see it, I have it here. But if you can't attend, this might not be the right fit for you. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, there's going to be so many wonderful things happening for 2026. I can hardly wait for it to get started, besides this week. But more than a year ago, I told the mayor and several council members that I would not be running for chairman. So that was over a year ago, probably 18 months ago. I also shared it with a few commissioners and several city council members that I was not going to be running for chair. So it's nothing new for me. I had no intent and no plan to do that. So I've also told and met with on several occasions the mayor-elect. The mayor-elect also knows that I was not going to run for chair again. So therefore, it's been our tradition for many years that although it's not in our bylaws, and I hope that's tweaked, that the election of officers has always been passed to the person from staff to conduct it, so it becomes a neutral vote instead of the person sitting here. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand over this portion of the election process to Cameron, and hopefully that'll all be put into the bylaws and attendance and all things coming up, because I see a very exciting year ahead. Get ready to work, get ready to be busy, get ready to be involved, because there's going to be a lot of changes coming up. Okay, Mr. Cameron, take it away.
So just want to read through the rules here real quick for the officer election process here. Commissioners do not have to be recognized to nominate someone. They may simply call out a nomination. A commissioner must ascertain the willingness of the individual they wish to nominate. Members can decline a nomination during the nominating process. Commissioners may nominate themselves. Nominations do not require a second. Following each nomination, the chair reiterates the name for the record, and the secretary will report all nominations in the minutes. A commissioner must move to close nominations. It's not permissible when another commissioner has the floor, and the motion requires a second and an affirmative vote of 2/3 majority of commissioners present to close nominations. To the election process, the chair calls for a vote of one officer at a time. If there's only one nominee for the office at hand, the chair calls for a voice vote of the nominee by the name for the office by name. If there is more than one nominee for an office, then there's call for a ballot vote. Commissioners receive a blank piece of paper on which they write the name of the candidate for whom they wish to vote. Ballots are returned, who reads each aloud and tallies the vote. Good? Clear as mud? All right.
I'm glad you're in charge and got it all figured out.
So at this point, floor for nominations for the Planning Commission chair position.
I nominate Austin Guyton.
Austin Guyton.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Philip Stalvey.
Commissioner Salby. Seeing no other calls for nomination, we do close nominations, which we need an affirmative vote of 2/3 of the board to close nominations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Nominations have now closed for Planning Commission Chair. Since there are 2 nominees, I'd ask that you each pass the bowl around, grab a slip of paper and a pen. Do that faster.
Up on a blank with that.
Thank you, Ken.
So just with 8 members present, it'll be a vote of 5-3 to be declared the winner.
How's this tie?
Just keep going, we'll figure that out.
First nomination, or first vote is for Commissioner Stalby. Vote for Commissioner Guyton. Second vote for Commissioner Guyton. A third vote for Commissioner Guyton. A second vote for Commissioner Stalby. A third vote for Commissioner Stalby. A fourth vote for Commissioner Guyton. And a fourth vote for Commissioner Stalby. So we do in fact have a tie, so thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Zeb. Zeb, you did us in. Okay, what's your rule?
So as this has not been ratified by our bylaws, we are in uncharted territory, so.
You're either gonna vote again, or you're gonna wait until we have a full board present to where you can get a unanimous decision.
You mean a majority decision?
A majority decision, excuse me, yes, sir.
Do you want to wait till next meeting? We'll do it at the beginning of the meeting. Y'all have to be here, though. It's gonna end up the same way.
Is this the full commission? Is there anybody?
No, there's Danielle is
Danielle's
missing.
Okay.
That's why I'm talking about attendance, man. It's just not good.
I'd like to make a motion that we wait till the next meeting,
At the beginning of the meeting.
at the beginning of the meeting.
Hold on a second.
Can we do a vice or not?
No.
No, you can't.
Sure. Since it's split, I don't feel like I want to be a chair of a split commission. I'm going to withdraw my nomination.
Yes, sir.
I believe Commissioner Stalby has declined his nomination for the nominating process, leaving 1. So at this time, for a vote of assent, all those please raise their hands and vote of Commissioner Guyton to assume the chair position for the Planning Commission. Seeing a majority, Commissioner Guyton, your chair. At this time, I will open the floor for vice chair nominations.
I nominate Paul.
I nominate Phil.
Nomination for Commissioner Williamson, nomination for Commissioner Stalby. Seeing no more, move to close nomination. I need 2/3 majority of the commissioners to vote to close this. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nominations have closed. Need more ballots.
Okay. I hit it on the other day.
Thank you.
Cameron exactly enough.
Oh, no, that's Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Good job, Caitlin.
Those look.
Excuse me. First vote is for Commissioner Salvi. A second vote for Commissioner Salvi. Third vote for Commissioner Salvi. Fourth vote for Commissioner Salvi. And a fifth vote for Commissioner Salvi, making the rest of them not need to be read at this point. Commissioner Salvi, been elected Vice Chair of the Planning Commission.
Okay.
And at that point, officer elections have concluded. The meeting is back to you.
Okay, well,
And make a
I'm not chair anymore.
Well, you threw this meeting.
Do this meeting, yes. One last motion for the road.
Send us off.
Okay,
But I do have another, I'd like to make another thought. I'll publicly state that some of the rumors that have been said are totally false. And I think that people need to take that into consideration. That's all I can say.
okay. Make a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second from Zeb and Austin. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all.